Welcome to InsidePTI, weekly videos designed to get you the trial results you want, agronomy explanations you need, and insights that will set you up for a successful season. Today we're going to talk about why it's important to close the furrow. Does the planter you're using today do a good job closing the furrow on your farm? The first plot we took out involving our automated sensing furrow force closing system compared to all these other wheels, we found a pretty high yield increase of an extra 9.5 bushel per acre. This was an advantage towards the sensing furrow force system. And my first question was why? Why are we getting that large of a yield increase? Now, one thing to remember, this is on 30-inch row corn, and we planted this in April in some pretty tough conditions. But think when you go to the field and do scouting once corn comes up. You know, if you measure 1,000th of an acre, you've got 17 feet 5 inches. That represents 1,000th of an acre in 30-inch rows. If we have one plant that misses an ear, we do something wrong and it throws a barren stalk, no ear on it, that represents 7 bushel to the acre that we lost. And I think about the 9.5 bushel that we gained here with this furrow force, this automatic sensing closing system. This makes perfect sense to me. If I know that only one ear, losing one ear in that 1,000th of an acre represents 7 bushel to the acre, I know why we're getting 9.5 bushel with our automated sensing system. We're getting more plants up out of the ground, and as a consequence, we're harvesting more ears. So I'm starting to understand this because we go back to our stand counts and we measure this every single year in every single trial that we have. With the automated furrow force system, we are getting more plants up out of the ground and we're harvesting more ears per acre with this automated system. Take the yield, that 9.5 bushel yield response, times the price of corn, $3.67 a bushel, and we're looking at average returns, extra revenue of almost $35 an acre, again, by the automated sensing system. Okay, and you're probably wondering as a grower, so tell me again, why in the world are we seeing almost a 10 bushel yield response in this scenario? I think this closing system is a more robust system. I do think it's better than our current closing systems. I think the big win here is coming from the sensing and the adjusting. It's addressing the soil variability that we have. What is this soil condition? Let's change to get it right here, but we're doing it every square inch of the field as we plant through. It's like somebody's walking behind your planter and adjusting that T-handle for you while you plant, okay? So we have an airbag that does the work for us on furrow force. And some of you are probably wondering why didn't we go a hydraulic cylinder back here like we do with downforce? But it's all about weight management. With downforce, with delta force, we're moving a lot of weight with all the weight of that seed and that row unit. With our closing system, we don't have near the weight. You know, we're moving anywhere from just a few pounds, maybe up to 50 pounds. That's it. So now we can put an airbag in. We can make this more affordable because of that. And a lot of you folks already have maybe air on the planter that we can tap into. Now, let's go into more data. Let's look at the closing wheels, all these systems that we talked about earlier in different tillage environments, because I'm going to do this because it represents variability on your farm with just one tillage. But we look at conventional tillage, vertical tillage, strip till, and no-till. Okay, here's some of our conventional till where we're working that soil pretty deep. Closing systems are going to work differently in an environment like this, say to a strip till environment or to a vertical tillage or to a no-till environment. Okay, we want to go from hard closing systems or difficult closing systems to easy to see how these various systems differ. And what we found is with all the different tillage, again, conventional tillage, strip till, vertical, and no tillage, the automated furrow force system actually beat every tillage on average. And you can see the yield responses here on the screen, anywhere from almost 5 to 7 bushels to the acre. Take that times the price of corn, and we're looking at extra revenue on the farm by about $20. Okay, so we had some pretty good results from our PTI farm this year. This is how we evaluate it on the farm. See, we run the planter, we plant the corn with the different closing systems, and we wait for the corn to come up. Generally, it's going to take about 100 to 110 heat units to get corn out of the ground. And it'll be just poking its head up out of the ground, and our team is there with a series of flags, different color flags. And as soon as that corn comes up, we're going to flag it with a color. If there's still more corn to come up, we come back a matter of hours later and we'll flag it again with a different color once it does come up. Now, if we do our job right, all the corn should come up at the same time, and it'll have one color of flag. but we know sometimes that doesn't happen, and we end up with varying emergence and different flag colors. Here's what happened. Earlier we showed you a seed that was in an air pocket where we didn't close properly. This is that seed that finally got water. It allowed it to germinate and emerge, and once it stuck its head up out of the ground, it's looking at two large plants on both sides of it. This is a late emerger, and this is what's causing yield loss with many closing systems today. How much yield loss? Well, at the PTI farm, we're measuring yield loss with emergence timing. We use 18 hours as our baseline. Okay, so we look at emergence after 18 hours. We go up to 28 hours. With later emergence, we're losing 17% of yield. We go out to 42 hours of those late emergers, we're losing 24% of yield. And then after 42, we're actually losing up to half of our yield. So again, this is where we think with our closing systems, this is where the yield loss is, because we're not getting all of these plants up out of the ground at the same time, causing late emergers and consequently yield loss. Here's what it looks like. You get those ears of corn out there that come up within 18 hours. They're consistent, they're the same size, but we get the late emergers. Those are the ones that's dragging yield lower. Here's the results in no-till situations. Our Furrow Force automated sensing system beat some of the other closing wheels that are currently on the market by over 10 bushel to the acre. So those wheels couldn't get the job done in those difficult no-till environments. Here we go back to the flag testing, and you can see the amount of the late emergers are so much more frequent with the other systems that aren't sensing and adjusting due to the variability. With the automated sensing system, we don't get those late stragglers coming in, and we're not seeing the yield consequence. Here's vertical tillage. We get a win across the board. The automated sensing system better in every case. Here's strip till. Now this is a difference. So this is where the Furrow Force, the automated system, got beat actually. It was in strip till, just a beautiful environment. We made some great strips in 18, and when that planter was set down on that environment, it was easier to close. So it wasn't as important to be constantly changing because it was just a super easy environment to close in. Here we go back and we look at the emergent scores. Again, the Furrow Force system doesn't have any of the late emergers past 28 hours. All the other systems do, but it was an easier environment to close. So the Furrow Force system, again, an automated sensing system. We're going to measure how much force we need on the row unit to close that furrow, to lift and fracture the sidewall and blow the air pocket out. We're going to measure and we're going to change as we're going through the field. Today's Inside PTI agronomy tip of the day is making sure we do two things the closing system is supposed to do correctly: lifting and fracturing the sidewall and removing the air pocket to give us the best chance at uniform emergence. Well, that's all the time we have for today. For more information or questions, feel free to reach out to any Precision Planting Premier dealer or email us at InsidePTI@precisionplanting.com. We'll see you on the next episode of Inside PTI. In the meantime, thanks for watching.